The Admiral's voice sliced through the room like a blade. "Enough," he barked, his tone cold, commanding, used to instant obedience. But as the woman he had just silenced slowly turned her head toward him, a flicker of uncertainty crossed his face, not at her words, but at the insignia glinting faintly on her shoulder. It was one no civilian should ever wear. If you love powerful stories like this, make sure to subscribe, share, and join us for more life stories that stay with you long after they end. Her name was Elara Quinn, a name that had drifted through military files like smoke, unconfirmed, unregistered, impossible to trace. The world knew her only through whispers, a woman who had walked away from the service years ago after a classified operation gone wrong, one that had left entire ships lost and reputations shattered. No one had expected to see her again, and certainly not here, in the glass conference room at Fleet Command, surrounded by the most decorated officers in the Navy. She had come as a civilian consultant, or so the papers said. Dressed in a plain black suit, her hair pinned back in military precision, eyes sharp as frost. She spoke with calm authority, outlining the vulnerabilities in the Admiral's defense grid, a system so classified only 10 people in the world had clearance to see it. But when she mentioned the Omega relay, the Admiral's patience cracked. "Enough," he snapped, slamming his palm onto the table. "That information is restricted. Who authorized you to?" And that's when he saw it. The insignia, a small, silver-winged triangle stitched into her lapel, gleaming faintly under the sterile light. His voice faltered. Because that insignia didn't exist. Not officially. It belonged to Unit Echelon, a task force that had been wiped from all records a decade ago. He had been a commander then. He remembered the day they vanished, 27 operatives sent on a mission beyond the outer colonies. None had returned. Alara's gaze locked with his. "You should let me finish," she said quietly. The room froze. The dozen officers who had been shifting papers or pretending to check data screens stopped breathing altogether. The Admiral leaned back slowly, his voice now lower, unsure. "Who are you?" Her lips curved into a faint, cold smile. "Someone who's been where you're about to send your fleet." The screens behind her flickered to life, maps, thermal scans, encrypted data streams, things no outsider should have access to. She tapped a command on her wrist link, and a visual feed appeared. An outpost drifting in space, its signal lost months ago. "Project Sentinel," she said. "You've been told it failed due to a communications breach. That's not true. You lost contact because something took it." The Admiral narrowed his eyes. "Something." She turned to face the hologram, and for a moment her composure slipped. Not a ship, not a person, something else. The room dimmed as the feed zoomed in, showing fragments of steel, drifting debris, and a shadow large enough to block out starlight. A nervous officer whispered, "Is that?" "Alive," Elara finished for him. "We don't know, but whatever it is, it's moving toward us." Silence blanketed the room. The Admiral's jaw tightened, his pride wrestling with disbelief. "And you expect us to believe this?" "I don't care what you believe," Elara replied. "I care that you prepare, because when it arrives, your ships, your entire fleet won't matter." The Admiral stood, his hand hovering over the console. "You're out of line, Miss Quinn." Her eyes sharpened. "Commander Quinn." The correction hit like a gunshot. She unpinned the insignia from her lapel and laid it on the table. Beneath the symbol, etched faintly in the metal, was a name, Operation Valkyrus. The Admiral's breath caught. "Impossible." "I led the surviving half of Echelon," she said softly. "We were left to die when the mission failed. But it didn't fail, Admiral. We found something, and it found us back." Her voice trembled, just enough to betray the weight behind the words. One of the younger captains shifted uncomfortably. "If this is true, why come back now?" Alara's expression hardened. "Because it's coming for you next. You've reactivated the same relay we sealed 10 years ago, and that, thing, it's been listening ever since. The Admiral looked around, searching faces for logic, for grounding, but all he found were blank, fearful stares. The map flickered again, signals multiplying. "How long?" he asked finally. She checked her wrist link. "Hours, maybe less." Panic rippled through the room, but her tone never changed, calm, precise, practiced. "You need to shut down the relay, purge the data net, and evacuate the lower stations." The Admiral hesitated, every instinct screaming against taking orders from her. "And if I do?" Alara looked at him with something between pity and warning. "Then you'll make the same mistake my superiors did, and you'll vanish just like them." He exhaled slowly. "You have proof?" She nodded. The display shifted to footage, grainy, chaotic, showing soldiers in black armor firing into a void, their weapons flickering uselessly before static consumed the feed. "Unit Echelon," she said softly, "the last transmission." The Admiral sat down heavily, the weight of command settling like lead. "You came here to warn us." "No," she said, "I came here to finish what we started." Without waiting for permission, she pulled a data chip from her jacket and slid it across the table. "Inside this is the protocol to seal the relay permanently. It will destroy your central grid, but it'll save the colony." The Admiral studied her. "You realize what you're asking me to do?" She met his gaze evenly. "I've already done worse to keep humanity alive." He looked at the insignia again, that silver wing, that impossible memory of a mission erased from history. Then, for the first time in decades, the hardened veteran felt something rare: respect. "Very well," he said quietly. "What do you need?" Her eyes softened. "A ship, and your word that you'll follow the protocol no matter what happens." The Admiral nodded once. "You'll have both." Within the hour, the base was in motion, alarms echoing through steel corridors, crews sealing bulkheads, systems rebooting in controlled shutdowns. Alara moved through it all with the grace of someone who'd done this before, calm, efficient, unflinching. As she prepared to board the transport, the Admiral appeared beside her. "I checked the old records," he said. "It says you were listed KIA, officially dead." She smiled faintly. "Sometimes it's easier to save the world when everyone thinks you're gone." He hesitated. "Will you come back?" She looked out at the stars, the faint shimmer of the relay pulsing in the distance. "If I do my job right, there'll be nothing left to come back from." The engines roared to life, washing her in silver-blue light. She stepped aboard, the ramp closing behind her with a hiss. The Admiral watched the ship lift off, disappearing into the dark horizon, leaving behind only the insignia he'd pocketed, a silent token of belief. Hours later, the relay's lights flared one final time, and then, just like that, went dark. Across the fleet, systems rebooted, screens blinked clean, and quiet fell. No explosion, no invasion, just silence. But somewhere deep beyond the colonies, a signal flickered, faint but persistent, carrying one encrypted tag. "Echelon still watches." And for the first time in years, the Admiral smiled. Because now he knew she wasn't gone. She was guarding them from the shadows, still fighting a war the world had forgotten. If you believe in courage, in the unseen battles that protect us, and the silent heroes who never ask for credit, then don't just watch. Share this story. Subscribe for more untold tales that remind us what strength truly means.